Called experts in the mainstream media insist on ignoring us. A silent and extremely powerful storm is brewing in Wisconsin. The offseason is always a period of pure speculation, of projections on paper and lists made by analysts who rarely understand what the true culture of Green Bay means. Recently, ESPN released its highly anticipated article listing the 50 most impactful signings and moves in the entire league for the season. 32 teams were analyzed from start to finish, 50 strategic decisions that, according to them, will define the course of the championship. And guess how many times the Green Bay Packers were mentioned on this much-hyped list? Not once. Absolutely nothing. Not a single honorable mention. No nod to the tireless work that Brian Gutekunst and his team have done over the past few months. Hello, everyone. If you enjoy the content and want to understand the ins and outs of American football in a simple way, or simply want to support the channel's continued growth, I've put together a comprehensive guide to the game's rules and mechanics. If you're watching on TV, point your phone's camera at the on-screen QR code to access it. If you're watching on your phone, the direct link is in the description and the pinned comments. For just $7.99, you can purchase the official ebook and invest directly in improving our videos here. The QR code is on the screen, and the link is pinned in the first comment and included in the description. Before we continue, make sure to subscribe to the channel. Our goal is to reach 1,000 subscribers, and you can be part of this milestone. To an outsider, this disdain might seem like a bucket of cold water, or even a sign that we're falling behind. But for those who know the passion of the crowd that fills Lambeau Field in sub-zero temperatures, this rejection is no surprise, it's fuel. It's the beginning of a narrative of overcoming adversity that we've seen repeated countless times in the history of this legendary franchise. We don't need the seal of approval from the mainstream media to know the value of the roster being built. When they underestimate us, that's exactly when we become more dangerous. While they focus on the spotlights of the big cities, we work in the shadows, honing the weapons that will shock the world of American football very soon. If you coldly analyze the names and moves that actually made it onto ESPN's list of the 50 best, the situation becomes even more bizarre and hard to swallow. They listed the signing of David Edwards, a veteran guard whose best days are behind him, to the New Orleans Saints as if it were a historic milestone. They listed the trade of Geno Smith to the New York Jets as a brilliant top 50 move, making us debate old transactions in the year 2026. But the real pinnacle of absurdity on this list was seeing the trade of Rashawn Gary to the Dallas Cowboys highlighted as one of the most brilliant plays in the league, but only from Dallas's perspective. You have to laugh to keep from crying. The truth is, if we analyze recent performance, getting any solid compensation for a player who spent the last 9 weeks of last season without registering a single tackle for loss or a single sack is, in fact, a gigantic victory for the Green Bay front office. So, this move should be celebrated as a masterstroke by our own management, not as a boon for our rivals. It's this kind of distorted analysis that tires the true fan. They only look at the glitz of the well-known names on the jersey, ignoring the actual on-field production and the long-term financial health of our franchise. Gary's departure opens the door to a new era, and the return he brings gives us the flexibility needed to inject fresh blood into positions that truly need immediate attention. We're not here to live off past glories or old reputations. We're here to build a winning team, young and hungry for the Lombardi Trophy. Voss. The truth that nobody in the mainstream media wants to admit is that Green Bay had an extremely intelligent and surgical offseason focused on real value and sustainability. Let's talk about concrete facts. We secured the young Brandon Cece with the 52nd pick in the draft. So, Cece was considered by many independent analysts to be a first-round talent, an indisputable top 40 prospect. He is extremely young, possesses rare defensive instincts, is a true monster in support against the run, and fell into our lap in the second round but the good news doesn't stop there. Our front office was able to close crucial contract extensions with 2 of our most talented and promising receivers, including Christian Watson, who is coming off his best season in the league, Sox. Managing to retain these young talents for an average of only $19 million a year in a receiver market that is completely inflated is a financial masterpiece that deserves a standing ovation. In addition, the management of our linebacker group was impeccable. By transitioning from Key Walker to Zaire Franklin, we managed to save a colossal amount of money on the payroll without a drastic drop in the technical level on the field. It is this type of financial and sporting intelligence that keeps our title window open for years on end, while other franchises sink into gigantic and dysfunctional contracts. We are building a solid foundation, where every dollar spent is converted into real production and extreme competitiveness. Anyone who doesn't see the genius of these moves simply isn't paying attention. Hello, everyone. If you enjoy the content and want to understand the ins and outs of American football in a simple way, or simply want to support the channel's continued growth, I've put together a comprehensive guide to the game's rules and mechanics. If you're watching on TV, point your phone's camera at the on-screen QR code to access it. If you're watching on your phone, the direct link is in the description and the pinned comments. For just $7.99, you can purchase the official ebook and invest directly in improving our videos here. The QR code is on the screen, and the link is pinned in the first comment and included in the description. Before we continue, make sure to subscribe to the channel. Our goal is to reach 1,000 subscribers, and you can be part of this milestone. Many critics point the finger at the losses in our coaching staff, but forget that our ability to bounce back is unparalleled. Losing a defensive coordinator to a head coach position at another franchise is always a daunting challenge, but Green Bay's response was simply formidable in hiring a brilliant new mind to lead our defensive unit. It's not just about who you lose, but how qualified the replacement you bring in is one. And people seem to have an extremely short memory of the true strength of our roster when it's healthy. It sounds crazy to say this now, but before injuries devastated our team, we were the rightful owners of the top seed in the NFC. We were leading tough games against difficult opponents until the end of the third quarter. The public forgets that, in the final stretch of last season, we were playing without our best offensive lineman, without our top interior lineman, without our most explosive playmaker, and without vital defensive pieces in our scheme. We went to the playoffs without Zach Tom, without Devontae Wyatt, without Tucker Kraft, and yet we were one play away from winning a crucial postseason game on the road where shines. If Romeo Doubs had caught that onside kick, we would have been the NFC North Division champions. What this team needs is not blockbuster signings to satisfy columnists in New York or Los Angeles. We just need to keep our key players healthy and ready to fight. The big question mark hanging over our defense for the 2026 season is who will be the main catalyst for explosive plays on our front line. We can't rely solely on Lucas Van Ness to carry the entire weight of the pressure on the opposing quarterback. If we rely only on one player and a group of mediocre supporting players, rival offensive coordinators will tear our game plan apart, completing quick passes and gaining hundreds of passing yards every week. Our secondary needs help on the front line, and the answer to that problem lies in our hungry youth. In community forums and discussions, fans enthusiastically point to names like Baron Sorrell and Danny Dennis-Sutton as ideal candidates to break out this season and form a truly elite pass-rushing duo in Green Bay. If these young talents can make the competitive leap we all hope for, the dynamics of our entire defensive unit will change dramatically. Having edge defenders capable of collapsing the pocket and forcing quick errors from opposing quarterbacks is the missing element to transform our defense into a complete nightmare for the NFL. We have the speed, we have the physical aggression, and we have the mentality needed to dominate the trenches. The development process of these young men during daily training and preseason will be the deciding factor in determining whether we will be just another competitive team or whether we will march with authority back to the top of our conference. On the offensive side of the ball, all paths to glory inevitably pass through the hands of Jordan Love. Currently, analysts place him only 10th in betting projections for the league's most valuable player award. But what these cold numbers fail to capture is the evolution in the working relationship and mutual trust between Love and coach Matt LaFleur. Last year, we saw moments when the offense seemed a bit sluggish, insisting on an inefficient running game even when Love's arm and game reading were on fire. We expect that this season, LaFleur will finally hand the keys to the car completely to our quarterback. We have complete confidence in Jordan Love's ability to read opposing defenses, change calls at the line of scrimmage, and execute pinpoint passes under high pressure. Furthermore, the emergence of young aerial weapons gives us plenty of reason to dream big. Matthew Golden is a name that everyone in the organization expects to see take a giant leap in production compared to his rookie year, establishing himself as an extremely dynamic and dangerous target in the middle of the field. On defense, Edgerrin Cooper is ready to establish himself as the definitive and undisputed leader of our linebacker group, bringing the aggression and speed needed to cover the field from end to end. When these pieces start to fit together perfectly under the command of our stars, the ceiling for this team will simply be limitless. Preseason training is bringing to light fascinating positional rivalries that will shape this team's identity. With Chris Brooks temporarily absent due to injury, a monumental window of opportunity opens up for rookie Marshawn Lloyd to shine in training with the second offensive unit, Lloyd has all the physical and technical tools to secure the role of second running back, creating devastating running game dynamics and constantly unbalanced opposing defenses. In special teams, we all know that the kicking game has been a constant source of anxiety and prayers in recent years under Rich Bisaccia, and now with the arrival of Brandon McManus. Gowns. If we can stabilize this position and stop painfully handing away games due to missed field goals, our path to the playoffs will be much more paved. Creed. And we can't forget Tucker Kraft, an athlete who embodies the true physical essence of Green Bay football. Crom. He has everything to establish himself as one of the most dominant and complete tight ends in the entire NFL. The season is knocking on the door, the countdown has begun, and we are fully prepared to leave the cheap analyses behind and prove our worth on the field. If you feel proud to belong to this fan base and believe that the return to Titletown is near, subscribe to the channel to follow every step of this epic journey and comment below your support towards the Super Bowl. Hello everyone. If you enjoy the content and want to understand the ins and outs of American football in a simple way, or simply want to support the channel's continued growth, I've put together a comprehensive guide to the game's rules and mechanics. If you're watching on TV, point your phone's camera at the on-screen QR code to access it. If you're watching on your phone, the direct link is in the description and the pinned comments. For just $7.99, you can purchase the official ebook and invest directly in improving our videos here. The QR code is on the screen, and the link is pinned in the first comment and included in the description. Before we continue, make sure to subscribe to the channel. Our goal is to reach 1,000 subscribers, and you can be part of this milestone.